Hi, I'm Will. Welcome back to the baldbookgeek, my weird, strange, random corner of the internet. Here is a little talky video about science fiction. So I've picked 5 science fiction books that I think you guys need to at least try to read. They're all very different. They're all completely and utterly different in the best way possible, and I've tried to pick 5 across the board of science fiction. So we're going to go from there. Hope you guys enjoy. So, the first book I'm going to talk about here is Beggars in Spain. For some reason, the first book is really commonly available and the other 2 in the series are not. I'm very lucky I managed to find a really worn out bind-up of them. It does exist and it's got a really naff cover. So, jokingly, I was on TikTok of all places, and a TikToker I like, Killer Christoph, talked about it briefly in a video. So I thought, okay, I'll go get it. And I got it, and I read it, and it's good. It's hard science fiction. It deals with genetic engineering, and imagine a future where you don't have to sleep. You can have your children who are sleepless, and the economic issues that causes throughout, well, the world. It's a fantastic book, and definitely one to pick up. So let's go into a different style of science fiction now completely. This is cyberpunk. Well, the first book in this series is cyberpunk. Although science fiction elements are extremely strong, and cyberpunk are basically so intertwined. Anyway, this was also turned into a Netflix series, hence the reason I'm including 2 of the covers here, and it's Altered Carbon. Altered Carbon is set in a future where you can't really die. You can have your mind, your consciousness put into a little device that's put in your neck at birth and deals with that. So he gets put into this new body of a detective, and he ends up having to deal with this crime. A man killed himself, a man who is effectively mortal, and it's this sprawling epic in the best way possible cyberpunk science fiction novel, and the characters are compelling and the world is compelling and you want to know more about them. There are 3 books in this series. The first book is Altered Carbon, and the Netflix series is absolutely brilliant too. So, the next book is The Explorer. The Explorer is by James Smythe. He is a phenomenal writer in his own way. He wrote books like The Machine, which is another great science fiction novel, but I want to talk about The Explorer. It has a sequel called The Echo, by the way. The Explorer is about a journalist who is about to go into space. He is about to write his epic piece of exploration. It's near future science fiction, so it's very close to where we are now. And everything goes wrong, and this is not a spoiler. Everyone dies within the first chapter, and then you suddenly realise not everything is what it seems, and you get pulled in and roped in, and he writes these compelling characters in these very claustrophobic, tight situations. He's a great writer and someone definitely worth looking out for, especially if you want more grounded, realistic science fiction rather than spaceships or science fantasy. So, yeah, do check him out. So, the next book on this list is Wool, and there is a trilogy of these books. They get oddly roped into the YA section, although I wouldn't necessarily class them as YA, although I would class them as maybe very appropriate for young people. Set in a near future, well, I say near future, a ruined future, a slow end of the world type vibe. Things are decaying, things are old, things have been used and are running out. The book was originally sort of a self-publishing behemoth, and you can actually get all the short novellas, the interlinking novellas in the Wool, the original Wool, separately, and you can with the others. They all tie each other together, so yes, you do jump from character to character, but it's done in such a way, and in such a compelling way, you can't wait to go back to the previous character or find out more, and you suddenly realise how interlinking these series and stories are. The Wool trilogy will leave a mark on you, and I will say read them today. So the final book that I've included on this list is a book called Tusk. Oh, I cannot tell you how good this book is. This is more science fiction in the far future way. It's kind of military science fiction, a little bit of space opera. It's kind of an amalgamation of different science fiction styles. It's extremely character focused and it's an independent release, so do support indie writers. This book just was gifted to me by a friend who met him at Norcom last year in Norwich, and I couldn't put it down. I read it in a weekend and just fell in love. I couldn't get over his writing style and how well and compelling these characters are. So, what I will say is do check him out as well. I've talked about his books briefly in other videos, so if you put science fiction into my channel, you'll get a couple. But it's one of those that if you want your kind of epic space battles and that kind of thing, that you will fall in love with it. And there is a second book out as well, so do check out Tusk. So, as always guys, tell me what you think in the comments below, like and subscribe, and there are countless links and all of my contact details in the doobly-doo. Tell me what you think of these books that I've picked. Have you read them? Have you heard of them even? The writers? And also, what science fiction do you love? What science fiction gets under your skin? What science fiction makes you go wow? And as always, I will bid you adieu, and I will talk to you later. Bye.